Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to the 1986 FBI Miami Dade shootout. Now, I mean, just in the title alone, there is a lot going on. Like, why did the FBI, why were they involved in this? You know, maybe it was a manhunt, maybe they were looking for somebody and they found them and that person, you know, wasn't willing to go down without a fight. And, you know, hence the violence ensued. I have no clue, but, you know, just, this is the kind of thing that I could easily watch in, you know, my downtime, you know, as a movie or a documentary, because there's just so many questions that immediately pop into my head. So I've got a great feeling about this video. I think it's going to be a really interesting and cool one to watch. Let's do it.
Friday, April 11th, 1986. A two-man team of Army veterans turned professional bank robbers hit a series of banks in armored trucks within the city limits of Miami.
Why
the robbers
though?
were well-equipped, well-trained, and equally violent, ruthlessly shooting down anyone who even hesitated to comply with their demands, prompting a small group of field agents within the FBI to execute a guerrilla-style investigation. And after a months-long game of cat and mouse, the FBI and bank robbers would intersect by chance in a quiet suburban neighborhood.
No way.
Setting the stage of one of the most hellish gunfights in American history. This is that story.
All right, let's go. Hell of a build-up. Between 1985 and 86, at least one bank or armored truck robbery occurred every day. Every single day in Miami. Wow. That's crazy. Wow, this is giving me real Stranger Things vibes. The 1986 FBI Miami shootout. Wow, he's really made this into like a movie sort of thing.
In 1985, violence in Miami became endemic, from bank robberies to homicides to the drug trade. And while the country as a whole waged the war on drugs, Miami had its own war on drugs, overseen by the president himself. And between the drugs and the uptick in robberies, the FBI stepped in. And there are few as notorious as the C1 Miami Bank Robbery Squad, consisting of 15 special agents, units tasked with one thing and one thing only: catching bank robbers. And for the first time in its history, the C1 squad encountered an unknown category, a crew of two armed individuals seemingly operating without subset or gang allegiance.
Working for a squad like that, I mean, yeah, you're going to get a lot of job satisfaction when you eventually find, you know, and apprehend bank robbers, but the danger, because these people you're going after, they've got nothing to lose really. So if you do catch them, you could quite easily lose your own life or get seriously hurt.
And out of
like do or die almost.
The Colombians and the various street gangs committing hundreds of armed robberies, it was somehow a crew of two guys who rattled the FBI to its core. Michael Platt and William Maddox both met as military police officers while serving in the United States Army. Platt, a former infantryman, and Maddox, a Marine who later re-enlisted in the Army, were both highly capable combat veterans. And the two became inseparable until Maddox eventually got out of the service and settled down with his wife in Columbus, Ohio. Meanwhile, Platt left the Army and started his own landscaping business down in Florida. The two would frequently chat, and it became clear that Maddox longed to live near his best friend in Florida, but it was nothing more than a pipe dream and a far cry from his stagnant and predictable life in Ohio. But around this time, on December 30th of 1983, conveniently Maddox's wife was horrifically murdered along with her coworker. Maddox was a suspect in the case.
Oh my God.
But no proof could be brought against him. He collected a $350,000 life insurance policy and reunited with Platt in Miami.
Man, did he do it? I mean, considering his military background, he'd probably have a good idea how to do it. And when you go from being in the military, right, active duty, to suddenly a really sedentary life, it's such a big adjustment. I'm sure there's a lot of people who struggle with that. But yeah, I feel like this guy did it. I've got no evidence, obviously.
And at almost a year to the day of Maddox's wife's murder, Platt's wife allegedly took her life, leaving Platt with 3 young children.
What?
And although suspicion would tell you they deliberately sought freedom, whether financial or psychological, the two still elected to settle once again, as both men remarried and lived the quiet suburban life.
No way!
By night, they were robbing drug dealers. The media would have us believe that they were 2 suburban family men turned bank robbers, but it's very obvious they were 2 bank robbers disguised as family men. On October 9th,
I think they were doing it for the thrill, weren't they? For the thrill of it.
of 1985, an armored truck made a scheduled drop at a Steak and Ale restaurant off of South Dixie Highway. Platt and Maddox rounded up the courier well armed with an M16 and revolver. The driver refused to get out and drove away following company policy. Platt and Maddox opened fire, striking the vehicle 15 times before deploying a smoke grenade and fleeing the scene altogether. They made out with a mere score of $2,800. Metro-Dade County Police and the FBI responded to the scene. In charge, FBI Violent Crimes Unit Supervisor, Special Agent Gordon McNeil. Many of the witnesses stated that the robbers looked like true professionals, from the way they spoke to the way they moved and carried their weapons, leaving the FBI to suspect the culprits to be either police officers or ex-military. And due to their overall failure of the heist, the FBI predicted
They would do it
strike
again. Yeah. I mean, 2,800, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge amount of money, but I genuinely don't think, based on what I know or what we know so far, I don't think they were doing it really for the money. Like, I think they were doing it more for the thrill, the adrenaline. It's almost like they're back in the military, really, but in a civilian situation.
Only 1 week later, they were right.
Wow, a week. No downtime at all, just back out. Money, 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 money.
On October 16th, Platt and Maddox hit a Wells Fargo truck fronting a Winn-Dixie in South Miami. Unlike other companies, Wells Fargo ran a 3-man crew on all armored vehicles due to the volume of robberies in the area. The third guard, otherwise known as the lookout guard, posted up against a wall outside of the store, but he wasn't unaccounted for. Platt and Maddox snuck up on him and opened fire, striking the man in the leg with a 12-gauge shotgun.
Oh, man.
The other 2 guards returned fire, and a gunfight erupted in the busy grocery store parking lot.
Jesus.
Platt and Maddox took off without a single penny, failing yet again. And for the sake of time, dead set on securing a score, they set out to do it all over again the very next day.
So I guess I was wrong. They are doing it for the money. But I thought that banks, when they move cash, there's like an ink compartment. Maybe this is quite a modern thing, at least here in the UK, that if you force entry into one of these cash boxes, the ink just sprays all over the notes, rendering them useless. Like, do you guys not have that in the States? I think you should.
On October 17th, Platt and Maddox stuck up a Loomis truck outside of Adults Restaurant in South Miami, but the guard opened fire, prompting the men yet again to retreat. And although their first attempts were unsuccessful, the FBI took notice, as so far every heist involved gunfire. On November 8th, Platt and Maddox quit the armored trucks and decided to step up their game, and overtook a Florida National Bank, making off with a clean take of $41,000. 2 months later, on January 10th of 1986, Platt and Maddox hit a Brinks truck outside of a Barnett Bank off South Dixie Highway. As the guard opened the door, one of them shot the guard in the back. After the guard fell, the other one shot the guard twice in the back. They cleaned out the truck and fled the scene with a take of $54,000. As Platt and Maddox made their getaway.
Wow, this is truly a crime spree at this point. They've robbed at least 5 to 6 banks at this point. 2 actual banks and 3 or 4 armored vehicles. These guys, they've got a real taste for it, haven't they?
A nearby witness followed them and reported that the robbers switched out of a 1977 gold Monte Carlo and jumped in a white Ford pickup. The 77 Monte Carlo belonged to an Emilio Brielle, who was reported missing on October 4th. And for the first time in the investigation, the FBI had 2 real leads: Emilio Brielle's stolen car and the suspect's last known vehicle, the white Ford pickup. Special Agent McNeil and his team decided to cast out a large net to patrol and take down every license plate number of every white Ford pickup in the area of South Dixie Highway between 88th and 185th Street.
Wow. Honestly, like, I'm trying to imagine being an FBI officer or, investigator, having to piece by piece build up a knowledge base that you can then identify your targets. It's almost like a puzzle. Literally, it's like a puzzle, isn't it?
While Platt and Maddox were living large, the FBI, still awaiting results from the DMV, decided to make their own luck. Special Agent Ben Grogan conferred with Special Agent Ed Morales, proclaiming that he found the suspect's next getaway vehicle, after handing Agent Morales a copy of the Florida Herald, which covered a story about a man who was shot and carjacked by 2 men in the Everglades. But miraculously, the victim survived. Special Agent Grogan arrived at Jackson Memorial Hospital and conducted...
because he survived, he'll be able to give a visual description. All right.
An interview with the now stable victim, Jose Collazo. Collazo stated that he was carjacked by 2 white males while target shooting. He reported that the men shot him multiple times before one of them fled in a white pickup.
These guys, man, they're just so ruthless.
And the other in Collazo's 1979 black Monte Carlo, bearing Florida license plate NTJ 891. Collazo warned him that the men were cold-blooded and ruthless. The FBI was eager to act on this new information. However, Platt and Maddox struck again, hitting the same Barnett Bank and making off with $8,300.
The same bank. The same bank. Wow, these guys really don't give a damn, do they? Just wow.
Before fleeing in a black Monte Carlo. The game of chess was coming to its end. But unfortunately in life, not every game has a winner, and not every game has a loser. Not every player plays to win.
All right, here we go. The big crescendo. Oh, I like the look of that one. To be honest, all of these cars look awesome.
April 86, 9:20 a.m. Southwest frequency.
Surprise Sierra 2 units, and the FBI is staking out the banks on
Section Area 2 units. The FBI is staking out the banks along the highway from 183 Street to 112 Street, 9:20.
9:32 a.m.
Man, just the buzz. The buzz that you must be feeling, like going on a chase like this, or just you're in pursuit of someone or something. It must be so exciting.
2960 to Southwest.
Listen, FBI unit
man, you can barely understand what they're saying. Like, I know a lot of it is like code and stuff, you know, but you can barely, especially if you're driving quite quickly, you're gonna have to really concentrate on what the guy's saying.
Verifying November, Tango Juliet 891. $15,935.
5222. What does that even mean?
5222.
Whoa. Holy. Oh my God. Is this actual audio? Oh my God. Wow. A brave man is a man who dares to look the devil in the face and tell him he's the devil. James A. Garfield.
One day after FBI agents fought a fierce battle for their lives in broad daylight, the curious still crowd into this Kendall community on Southwest 82nd Avenue and 122nd Street, who lay dead in the street yesterday, responsible for the wild shootout that left 2 agents dead and another 5 wounded. Still, it's not the only South Dade neighborhood dealing with shock today. Friends of William Maddox can't believe it was their neighbor, taking pictures and asking questions, alongside agents trying to reconstruct the shootout.
Imagine discovering that your neighbor, who seems to be a really nice, guy, secretly robs banks at night and is a ruthless, just ruthless in his actions. He doesn't care who dies as a result of what he does. It must just blow your mind.
When agents in 3 FBI vehicles succeeded in boxing in and stopping the Black Monte Carlo, all of them crashed. Platt and Maddox immediately jumped out and opened fire as the agents scrambled. Special Agent Gordon McNeil quickly recovered his .357 Magnum that he lost during the initial collision and sidelined Maddox with 3 rounds to the torso until McNeil was struck in the neck, falling paralyzed to the ground. Special Agent Richard Manauzi was unable to recover his revolver in the wreckage and was struck in the head and the back by Platt. Special Agents Dove and Grogan were both killed. At which point Platt entered Grogan's vehicle on the attack, opening fire on Agent Morales. Special Agent Gilbert Oranita returned fire with his .38 Special and was wounded by shrapnel and debris from a near miss of Platt's .223. Special Agent John Hanlon fired 5 rounds from his .38 Special until he was shot in the hand and groin. Agent Morales was shot in the left arm, but continued to return fire with his 12-gauge shotgun.
Man, these 2 robbers, they fired a lot of bullets, didn't they? A lot.
One-handed. Once his shotgun was exhausted, he rose to his feet, drew his service revolver, and rushed both Platt and Maddox, single-handedly, killing them both.
Impressive.
The incident changed the way law enforcement thinks and equips its officers. Grogan's wife and fellow Special Agent Sandra Fritsch would move on and remarry, and she honorably served the Bureau for 36 years. On September 9th of 2021, Sandra Fritsch passed away and was laid to rest beside her first husband, Ben Grogan.
Wow. Crazy story. Absolutely insane.
Special Agent Ed Morales wrote a book about the event titled FBI Miami Firefight. I highly recommend it, and I'll leave a link to his book in the description below.
Crazy. Do not go gentle into the good night. Rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light. That That poem had an impact on me as a young man, and I guess you could say that I was raging against the dying of the light on April 11th, 1986. Great quote. Special Agent Ed Morales. Fantastic work, Mr. Morales. I mean, if he didn't stop those two, awesome tribute. Wow. Truly an awesome video. The production was fantastic. It felt like, honestly, I could easily see a longer version of that on Netflix or something like that. Amazing job by Popo Medic. For the two armed robbers, I just don't understand why. Why? Was it purely the money they were after? Was it the adrenaline rush? I suspect it was both. But there's healthier ways that you can get an adrenaline rush, you know? I mean, I don't know why they resorted to that. Like, there was a million other things they could have done, but maybe a life of crime is something that just really, really appealed to them. But, you know, they lost their lives as a result of it. I wonder if you could ask them now, you know, if you gave them the chance to do things differently, would they still go down this path? I don't think they would, but I guess there are people out there who genuinely are just attracted to that kind of lifestyle. I don't know, you know, if anything can be done, you know, to help those types of people. I just feel so bad for the FBI agents who lost their lives, you know, because their families, their friends, their wider network has been affected massively, you know, massively. They'll never be the same, all because they were just doing their jobs. Crazy story. I really, really enjoyed this. Like, let me know what you guys thought of it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.